Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time.
It's time for a good
That was a
old-fashioned
long
Q&A, MMA fans. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived to hear from the man himself, Ariel Helwani. Live from the Vox Studios in beautiful New York City, it's On the Nose. And now, to answer your questions, get out of your seats and on your feet.
Get out of your seats and on your feet.
Ariel Helwani.
In addition to all of that, I failed to mention that it's a big week here in the Northeast. It's a big week here in the New York, New Jersey area. Obviously, we have 302 on Saturday. Obviously, we have the show at the Prudential Center. Will Dustin Poirier finish the story? We shall find out. We are just 3 days away. But guess what? We are 2 days away from the 5th Helwani Roadshow. This is it, my friends. It's going down on Friday. We announced it just a couple of weeks ago, and now it's actually happening in the biggest and most beautiful venue that we've ever done one of these. It's all very intimidating, if I'm being honest. It's the njpac.org. It's the New Jersey Performance and Arts Center. It's an unbelievable venue, and it's just a couple of minutes away from the Prudential Center, and it's going down in just 2 days' time. Friday, May 31st, 8 p.m. Eastern. Ceremonial weigh-ins are at 5 at the Prudential Center. Hang out, get a sandwich, get a drink, and then come on by, and it's going to be a grand old time. You can get the tickets right now at njpac.org. The link is the pinned tweet on my profile. It's in my bio on Instagram. It's in my bio on TikTok. It's everywhere. And what's great about this, what makes it so special, is that all net proceeds are going to the Good Fight Foundation, the charity that is headed up by Dustin Poirier and Jolie Poirier, his wife. They've done tremendous things for the good people of Lafayette, Louisiana. And this is a weekend to celebrate him and his career, win or lose. And I thought it would be apropos because I love everything that they do. And I love how he always ties his fights to the charity. I thought we would give all net proceeds to the Good Fight Foundation. Now, since we last spoke, we didn't have a single guest announced. We have a bunch. And we have some breaking news, Frank, regarding another guest. So if you've been to one of these, you've seen it before. Okay, not yet. You've been to one of these, you've seen it before. We like to have guests there. We like to do Q&A with them. We like to sit and chat with them and all that stuff. Already announced for the show, Friday, May 31st. If you're in the area, if you're in New York, if you're in Connecticut, if you're in your New Jersey, if you're in freaking Virginia, come on by. Everyone's welcome. We've got number one, Kayla Harrison, the two-time Olympic gold medalist, the woman who has been in the news as of late. So much to talk to her about. Kayla Harrison joining us. 1-0 now in the UFC, the 135er who made her debut at UFC 300. Is she next for a title shot? She's going to join us. And you know the bants are always great with Kayla Harrison. You can ask her some questions, Q&A with her as well. Number two, Arman Tsarukyan, the number one contender at 155 pounds. He's getting a front row seat on Saturday to be there, to watch DP, his teammate at ATT, go up against Islam Makhachev, the guy he fought many moons ago, lost a close one on short notice. He's next. I predicted he'd be the champ by the end of the year. He's going to join us first on Friday as well. What about Raging Ally Quinta, the most successful real estate agent in MMA history? New York Rick's real estate agent as well. He's going to join us. Yes, he's going to join us. We have said that there's going to be meet and greet, giveaways, Q&A, all that stuff and more. We have said that a current UFC champion is going to join us. That's a surprise. Who is it? You got to be there. No streaming, one night only. You got to be there to witness it all. This might be the most star-studded cast we've ever had. We have said that a former champion is going to join us. And breaking news, my friends, just added to the lineup is the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. He is going to join us as well. Yeah, reveal it. Reveal it, baby. Aljo going to join us. And in addition to that, another former champion tracking to join us. I mean, we may be there all freaking night. It's going to be great. Aljo, Kayla, Arman, Big Al, and others njpack.org. Get your tickets now. They're going. They're moving. I'm excited. I can't wait. 8 p.m. Link in my bio, Twitter, all that stuff. I hope you can check it out. I hope you can come. Meet and greet, Q&A, giveaways. It's going to be great. All right. Thank you so much. I might plug that one more time. Now let's get to the questions. Hey, Ariel, do you think that the winner of the Corey versus Umar fight will actually fight for the belt next, or will this fight be similar to the Bilal versus Burns fight where the winner doesn't necessarily fight for the belt next? I think if Sean O'Malley wins, the winner of this fight is next. If Sean loses, they might run it back. But if Corey beats Umar and if Umar beats Corey, I kind of feel like this is a number one contender fight. Does anyone disagree? Let me see here.
No disagreements here.
I mean, it's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
Marab is 1, Corey's 2. There's Jan out there. What would you have preferred, Cheeto versus Jan or Cheeto versus Figgy?
Figgy versus Jan.
Oh, wow.
That's what I
Figgy
would've
versus Jan.
Yeah, sign me up for that.
Wow. So you don't, and what would you have done with Cheeto?
I hadn't thought that far. I'd only booked the Figgy Jan fight in my head. I still need to figure out what I'll do with Cheeto. But I still like this fight a lot. Figgy versus Cheeto is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Now what do they do with Jan?
That's a good question. Cejudo?
Oh, I'm down for that. Yeah.
If they resign? No, you're not going to do Aldo?
Aldo Jan, yeah, rematch.
Just trying to go through the list here. Song Yadong. Anyway, I feel like this is going to be I feel like it's going to be a number one contender fight. Where are the rest of the questions? Okay, now I'm going to go, wait. I wanted to go to the newest to see. Ariel, thoughts on the Abu Dhabi card in August? No disrespect to a legend, but last time we saw Nick Diaz, he missed weight, looked old, slow, and won out of the fight. Fast forward 3 years, he's 41. He's fighting 5 rounds versus Luque, who doesn't have big power. So we've likely to see Diaz just take punishment for 25 minutes. Why? Not to mention 41-year-old Tony Ferguson, who's just lost 7 out of 7, and Dana thinks should retire. It sort of reminds me of WWE's Super Showdown 2018 and 2019 when the Saudis paid crazy money to see legends of yesteryear, but to what cost? Important to note, this is Abu Dhabi and not Saudi Arabia, but I understand where you're coming from. A concussed Goldberg nearly killed The Undertaker. Triple H tore his pec after 5 minutes, and Shawn Michaels nearly broke his neck. Am I exaggerating, or is there a cause for concern? Much love, your boy, Abe. I mean, I laid out that Nick wanted to come before, but I did hear that they wanted him on the card. And yes, maybe there's something to that. I would look, I know there were some people who thought, you know, when the Saudi group really started to get into combat sports, they thought, all right, you know, WWE's with Saudi, UFC's with the UAE, and UFC's been with UAE since, you know, 2010 when they invested in the company. And so there were a lot of people who thought, like, you can't be with both. And then when the TKO group thing happened, and in particular, I believe Nick Khan was instrumental in this, they were able to make a deal with both the Saudis and Abu Dhabi. But I think there's a jockeying for position here. So they say, you get Khamzat, we want these guys. And we're getting a fight night, not a pay-per-view. This is a pretty damn good fight night. So I say 10-9 Abu Dhabi. Am I wrong about this, guys? Do you not agree? And both are great. Both are great. But I do think that I'm pulling it up here, the Abu Dhabi offering. Okay, so this is the Abu Dhabi offering. And this is the 5. Okay, well, it's 6 fights on the main card, but I'm going to go 5 versus 6. Whitaker Shemaev, Pavlovich Volkov, Walker Ozdemir, Johnny Walker, Gaslam D-Rod, Sharabutin Magomedov versus Jolton Litterman. Okay, that's the main card. As opposed to Sanhagen or Magomedov, Diaz Luque, Figgy Cheeto, Dern Lupi, Fergie Tony, Kesa. I mean, it's not even close, right?
Yeah, I'm going Abu Dhabi on this one. Both are
Take it 3
great
for
cards,
3.
though.
Abu Dhabi.
Both are great cards, though. Looking forward to both of them. Love the main event for the Saudi Arabia card, and just love the entire main card for Abu Dhabi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a real, but there's something. There's something. And yeah, they want the legends, and Nick Diaz is a legend. He still has 5 fights left. And so let's see. Let's see where he's at. People will talk about it. Man, what a summer. Nick Diaz and Mike Tyson fighting in the span of 2 weeks. Who would have thought? And yes, last I heard the Tyson fight is still on. I know there was a scare, which is obviously quite concerning. Yeah, it's hard to know what to make of it all. The only thing I will say about that is that the picture that a lot of people are posting is an old picture of like 4 years ago. That's all I'll say about that. But if you have concerns over it, you know, they're all very fair. But you know, just for the sake of accuracy, you know, the one I'm talking about, the one of when he's being like wheeled around. That's from like I think 4 years ago or 3 years ago. He has a beard in it. He looks a little bit different. So
will that be a 3-week stretch right there? Tyson, Paul, Manchester, and then Abu Dhabi. That's a nice summer stretch there.
In the midst of the Olympics as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It lines up right with the Olympics.
Right during the Olympics. Usually some people like to chill out during the Olympics.
Betnap's going to be going crazy on those couple weeks.
Oh yeah. And right after the Euros too.
Right after the Euros. Copa America as well.
Copa America, golly. Hey, speaking of GC, this is from Patrick. Ask GC how his weekend with TST went. Did GC also go screenless on Saturday?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Enjoyed ourselves. Curious how he knew that. Maybe he saw Troy like posting on social media or something. Yeah, I mean, Screenless Saturday is a facade that he puts on. When he posts on his Instagram story with a phone. But we're mostly committed. A lot of leaving the phone in the car. You know, go get lunch, leave the phone in the car. Go to the park, leave the phone at home. But yeah, it was a great weekend.
Where'd you guys? I think you were at the park or something.
Yeah, did Central Park on Sunday into the Rangers game. Rangers won in OT. That was an amazing day. Beautiful weather. Saturday got some lunch, hung out. Troy demanded we watch the Misfits card, so watch the entire.
Wow!
Misfits
I
card.
didn't even mention PVZ and
PVZ getting dropped. We were going crazy in my living room. Yeah, we got home and Troy was like, "Yeah, let's put on the Misfits card."
He's the one that said this.
Yeah, and I sort of chuckled, and he was just like, "No, I'm being serious. Let's put it on."
Wow.
We watched Le'Veon Bell. We watched
this dude who says he hates boxing is asking to watch the Misfits card.
Oh well, we watched the Catterall Taylor fight before that, and he's dozing off, and then he's like PVZ.
Oh,
he's like, let's get the Misfits card on now.
That was a great fight, Catterall Taylor. And what about Bob Arum?
Great fight. Oh, Bob Arum getting the mic out there. Eddie Hearn behind him. Eddie Hearn behind him with the shit-eating grin on his face. Yeah, it was a great card.
All right. Seems like a great weekend.
Can I ask, now that you've aired Troy out publicly, do you think he can drop the facade? Like, do you think this is it now? Maybe he doesn't even have to bother
It's just like I've ripped on him several times for this before. Like anytime he posts an Instagram story where he's like #Screenless Saturday, I'm like, this is you're posting on a screen. Like this makes no sense. It's like you're not completely screenless, but we do a decent job of staying off the phones. It's good stuff.
Back to the questions we go. Evan, hi Ariel, love the show with JDM versus Shavkat for the #1 contender on the Perth pay-per-view off the table. How do you see the welterweight division playing out after Leon versus Bilal in July? Is there any possibility Conor gets a title shot, or will his contract need to be re-signed? Islam title double champ shot, maybe? You know, the thing is, you can never count out Conor, and I do think, honestly, Conor re-signs, not resigns, re-signs. I do think so. Obviously, they're not going to give it to him before they figure that out. I wouldn't put it past. If Conor beats Michael Chandler, let me ask you guys this. Bigger fight, Conor beats Michael Chandler. Would it be Conor versus Leon at 170, assuming Leon retains? Or would it be Conor versus Islam at 155, assuming Islam retains?
Conor versus Islam, not even a question. Silly to even
100%.
have this debate.
Okay.
Habib
100%.
versus Conor is the rivalry in all of our sport, and his protege Islam / brother / cousin / everything. Like not even a question.
Okay.
I'm 100% with you. The only reason I even lagged for a second is because I thought there was a world you might say if Dustin won doing Conor Dustin 4 at 155. So I got thrown off for a half second. But yes, I'm with Rick.
If Conor
Habib is in the corner as well.
Conor wins, Dustin wins, becomes champ, and then the first title defense is against Conor?
Yep. Yeah.
Don't hate it.
Oh,
don't hate it.
Yeah, you know who will hate it? Islam and all his fans. That he's not getting an immediate title shot.
Of course. Are you kidding me? But this isn't, the UFC doesn't always make sense. It's about getting the big fights. McGregor in a title fight in a fourth matchup against Dustin Poirier is as big as it gets.
And by the way, this is why I don't like, if Dustin wins, I feel like there's no chance he retires. Zero. You work this hard to become a champion and to reap the benefits of becoming a champion, pay-per-view points and all this stuff. And you can maybe get a Bisping Hendo-like title defense against Conor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no chance. If he loses, I could see 100%. Him maybe saying, okay, adios.
Let's just say as a backup plan, just in case, let's say he does win and he does retire. He lays the gloves down. He's like, I'm done. That's it. Then you call up Conor, you call up Mike, and you say, let's move that fight from 170 to 155 for the vacant lightweight title, and you put a belt on the line for that.
Or 165. What's the more winnable fight if you're Conor? Leon at 170 or Islam at... Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leon.
100%.
Also, Dustin Poirier loves fighting too much. Like, to feel like you're the champion of the world at the peak of your powers, I feel like he's not the type to walk away. There are certain guys that you feel like, yes, like the storybook, GSP, right? GSP is somebody who at the pinnacle right now, he's won the second championship in his career at a different weight class. Like, it makes sense, right? He was never a guy who really like loved fighting in that way. He did it. In fact, he kind of was terrified of it and hated it and got nervous to the point of sickness. Like, Dustin Poirier is kind of a born fighter. He doesn't strike me as the guy who's leaving on those terms, like having just captured the belt. I feel like he's going to want to defend the hill a little bit against top guys. Leon's the easier fight for Conor. It just stylistically, right? Like, Leon and Conor are going to strike. They're going to stand in the middle and strike, and that Islam is going to want to take Conor to the ground and rip his head off. So it feels like Leon's the easier path. But what fight is going to draw the most money? If you can convince Habib to even be a little bit involved in the promotion of this fight, astronomical numbers for that fight.
Here's another one regarding one Dustin Poirier. Jake, hey Ariel, quick question before the weekend ahead. With a win or a loss Saturday, is Dustin Poirier a UFC Hall of Famer? I say yes.
Yeah.
Rick, agree?
Again, like, UFC Hall of Fame is such a subjective kind of measure and such a it's, to me, and I've this is not an original thought by any means, but the UFC Hall of Fame is a team Hall of Fame, right? It's who were some of the best players in the Heat's history, in the Giants' history, in whoever's history, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are one of the best ever, who ever did it, and your resume stacks up against anybody who's ever lived. That's what the separate Hall of Fames are for. That's for the sports Hall of Fame. UFC is one promotion that is handing out fights and other things that go into the Hall of Fame that are not necessarily from the cream of the crop where there's a bar and then there's everybody else. So Dustin Poirier feels like Team UFC like 10 million %. He feels like the most no-brainer of no-brainer. He's spent his entire adult life in the UFC beating top guys. So yeah, UFC Hall of Famer, no doubt. But what does that mean, actually? I'm not sure what the significance is. I don't know what that actually means in the scope of
But if you're asking me for UFC Hall of Fame, like, is he in? Is he out? Yes, of course.
He is in. There's no doubt.
What would the argument against be? You know what I mean? Like,
it's like this whole Jim Miller thing.
If he never won a title, that would be like the one argument.
But there's so many guys in the UFC Hall of Fame who have not won like, the UFC Hall of Fame doesn't mean that.
Here's the more interesting question. Let's just say there was a real MMA Hall of Fame, an independent Hall of Fame.
That is more interesting.
Yeah. Because the UFC one is like, it doesn't really matter. As I've said a million times, it's, who the organization had a good relationship with. It's no different than the Knicks not retiring Charles Oakley's number. His number should be retired, but, they're not on the best of terms. So, anyway, MMA Hall of Fame, is he in? I say yes.
I think yes, because I think he's, for my money, the best fighter to never win a title. So I think even though you will let's say he is not successful against Islam Makhachev, I think the story of Dustin Poirier's career will be one of the best ever. Did not ever capture undisputed gold. That will kind of be the narrative around it. But I think he is the best to have never done it. I think he is the best fighter who got that close and never captured it. He held interim gold. I think that's significant, especially how Max Holloway, his career has continued to be on that trajectory, right? Like that wasn't the end of Max Holloway. In fact, we could argue like Max Holloway's kind of looking as good as ever right now. So to me, Dustin is the best to have never held gold. He can change that on Saturday night. And so I think he has to, like, to me, the resume just speaks volumes about who Dustin Poirier was throughout his career. So I would say, yes, he is a Hall of Famer by any metric in anybody's Hall of Fame.
Here's an interesting one from Natan. Hi, Arrow. With the recent videos of McGregor clubbing during training camp making the rounds, it got me thinking. And then it got me really tired. This guy can fucking party. I don't think I can hang. My question is, do you think you can last a night out with the Mac? If not, when are you bowing out? If so, where are we waking up? Love the show. Longtime lurker. Thank you and the crew for all you do. I'll be honest. I read the first line. I thought it was a question like, how do you feel about I didn't think it was, do you think you can hang?
I mean, this was an amazing question. I was dying back here laughing.
What do you think?
I hang
You're the youngest
one night
You're
with the Mac?
Yes.
100,000%. Because the energy that would come from partying with Conor McGregor, like, I mean, there's no doubt I'm making it through one night. Could I live a lifestyle like that? Probably not. He asked where we're waking up. Nowhere. I'm not sleeping. I'm making it all the way through the night. We're ending it. Maybe a little private breakfast at the Black Forge Inn or something.
If it gets to 4 a.m. and you're like, I just can't. Do you forge on? Pardon the pun?
I like the pun. There's just no way I'm thinking that if I'm partying with Conor McGregor. I'm not just like, I could use some sleep now. I would just be like, I am just along for the ride. I'm just strapping into the seatbelt and I'm just going for the night. Wherever the ship takes us, I'm sailing with.
On a more serious note, you see that video, do you change your stance on the fight?
Don't change my stance, but I'm just like...
On the result of the fight, on the way it plays out.
No. I still just have thoughts of like, is he taking this 100% seriously?
Right.
Because I've seen some people say like, maybe he wasn't drinking. Maybe he was just enjoying himself. I don't know. I just like still, it's just not really what you want to see someone doing as they're going through a fight camp.
Maybe this will be controversial. I don't consider Conor McGregor a championship top level fighter anymore. I don't personally care that much like what he's doing throughout camp. Like Conor McGregor is more entertainment, more spectacle at this point. He's fighting Michael Chandler. He's not fighting Islam Makhachev. I'm not that worried. It doesn't change much of how I thought about the fight because I probably factored in that there'd be some of that during fight camp. Like this, if you had the vision of Conor McGregor being some buckled down, super disciplined, prime of his career type guy anymore, like I got some bad news. That probably wasn't happening no matter what. But now you can certainly put that to bed. I never really thought that was what we were going to get. So I'm not that concerned because I never had that expectation for Conor McGregor. Like Conor McGregor, who Conor McGregor is at this point. And he's fighting Michael Chandler, like whose UFC career has been, very entertaining, but not super successful from a wins-loss perspective. So like, I'm not that concerned because I never thought Conor was going to be that buckled down guy. And if you did, like, I don't know, I got a bridge to sell you probably.
Two things on that. I did think it was amazing how like the very next day we got like 3 training posts from him of him like lifting weights, of him like in the gym, just sort of like, I wasn't doing anything last night, man. I was chilling. And then secondly, like you say, change how I think. What I think is going to happen in the fight is that there's no way Michael Chandler is just going to go in there and wrestle Conor McGregor. This is the biggest moment of his fight career. He's coming here to entertain the fans, just like he has done in every single one of his UFC fights. I think they're going to stand. I think they are going to trade, and someone is going to get knocked out. And it's like coin flip odds, and I think it should be because I think either dude can get knocked out in this fight. I think it's going to be really entertaining. I don't think it's going to be last long, and I think it's going to be a great night overall. So yeah, seeing the party like doesn't change the way that I see how the fight is going to play out.
All right. Trin, Monsieur Nick Diaz has been announced as back in the UFC. Was there any sort of new contract signed, or is this Nick trying to finish out his contract? I was told in the 4 to 6 range. So I'm saying around 5. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some work to get out of that deal. So I think he just wanted to fight, to be honest. Also, is this a precursor to Nate's possible return after the boxing match with Jorge? No, one has nothing to do with the other. Thanks for the shows, Ariel and crew. You all make the work week better. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Tyler, greetings, Ariel and the gang. First-time questioner, long-time listener, every-time watcher. By the way, question, listen, and watch were all emojis, but I just rolled with it. I'd like to start by saying a thank you to you, Ariel, the crew behind the scenes, and everyone in between. The MMA Hour and Ariel's reporting in general has been must-watch programming for me since he was applying for credentials. To sum it up nicely, it's been a weekly escape from all negativity in my personal world. For that, I'm forever grateful. That means more than you know. Thank you very, very much. With UFC 302 Fight Week going down, and after having the opportunity to see the countdown episode, as a fan, I personally feel more than ever before, especially after an interview with the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, that this is the final walk, the final showcase. It's as if he's reached the final boss, for lack of a better word. If you have had the opportunity to see the countdown, or possibly any insider information as to whether or not this is truly the last walk for DP, I have not. I do not know, and I have not asked that, and I don't think it's something he will even say. I think he's hinted at things, and again, my feeling is if he loses, it could be. If he wins, it won't be. But that's just my feeling. If it is, or even if you believe so, I feel like putting out a challenge to the MMA media as well as the MMA fans. After hearing Dustin's struggles after Gaethje as a fan who respects the sport and all participants, I challenge us to get trending #thank you Dustin, #diamonds last forever, or something to show appreciation for all the entertainment regardless of win, lose, or draw. To say I won't be emotional if he lays down the gloves is a lie. He deserves it, yet selfishly I don't want to see it now. Cheers to all of you from Vermont. Tyler, great comment. I will just say this regarding Dustin Poirier, and I've said it before, but last stop between 302, it's worth saying again. His relationship with us has been so unique because of Fightville, because of the documentary that we were introduced to back in 2011. Please do yourself a favor. Watch that documentary before Saturday. It is worth it. You already are probably hyped, emotional, whatever for this fight. You will be even more so after watching that. It's very rare that we are introduced to someone at such a young age via a documentary, and that person, some 13 years later, turns out to be, a legend. It would be akin to one of the characters in the Hoop Streams documentary turning out to be an NBA Hall of Famer. That didn't happen. It happened with Fightville. They didn't know it was going to happen, but we have that, and that's why we became emotionally connected and we were brought on this journey with him. We are also connected to him because he allowed us to be connected to him. He always showed up. I'll never forget, and again, I know I've told this story before, but worth repeating. Fairfax, Virginia, 2012, I'm working for Fuel/Fox. I'm the backstage reporter. He loses to Chan Sung Jung. #1 contender fight at 145. This is just 5 months into the deal where I'm doing the backstage reporting and the interviews and all that. And he just shows up. We didn't even ask. He shows up and he can hardly speak. He's crying. He's heartbroken. That only makes you want to root for him more. Everything that he has taught us and brought us in on as far as his family, the charity, his wife, his daughter. Even if you're the biggest Conor McGregor fan, I bring up Conor if only because that was probably his biggest rivalry. How do you not respect this guy? About how he conducted himself, about how he treated others, about how he represented the sport. How do you not love this guy? When he lost to Justin Gaethje, when someone loses, I rarely reach out to them. When someone gets knocked out, I never reach out to them. He reached out to me on that Sunday night. I remember it was when I deplaned 3 times after Crawford Spence. They were in Salt Lake City. He texts me late at night and he says, if you need me tomorrow, I'd be happy to come on. I'm like, what? Is this possible? He just got knocked out 24 hours prior. Now, does that say a lot about him as a fighter? No, but it tells you a lot about him as a person and how he always allowed us to be connected to him and why so many people love and adore him. And I say this with 1,000%, sincerity. I really try not to root for people. I try not to root for results, because I do feel like that is somewhat crossing of the line. But we are human beings, and we are getting older, and life and relationships and connections happen. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking at my nephew Jared's school, and I was talking about Dustin, and someone asked me, can he do it? He's my favorite fighter. I'm going to see him in Newark on June 1st. Do you think he could pull it off? And I said, I don't know if he can pull it off, but it seems like he's in the right spot. And I can't believe all the things that have had to happen for him just to get here. The win over BSD, the Armin win, Armin turns it down, the Gaethje knockout loss, Lafayette Street, all these weird little things. And when I was talking about Dustin and what he has meant to this show, what he has meant to me, what he has meant to the community, what he has meant to MMA, I started to tear up, because these individuals and their place in our lives don't last forever. And we go on these journeys with them 10, 12, 13 years, and then they just kind of disappear. And it's different than rooting for a team, because, I was a Knicks fan when Ewing was on the team, but I'm a Knicks fan now with Brunson. That will always remain. These guys come and go, and then that's it. And then it's just the memories. And you look back on the memories that this guy gave us, from all the ups to all the downs, and the downs were dramatic as well. How could you not have some part of you that says it would be nice if he could go out on top? I don't say that because I want that to happen at the expense of anyone else, but in a vacuum, it would be one of the nicest and most emotional stories in the history of this sport, akin to Michael Bisping against Luke Rockhold. This one feels very different. No one was really saying Bisping retires if he loses, if memory serves me correct, but it feels somewhat reminiscent of that. And so I understand where you're coming from, Tyler. I understand where a lot of the fans are coming from. And I understand the Islam fans who are like, fuck that. I want my guy to keep the belt. And you could all go, have your nice story somewhere else. I get it. And that's what makes this card, which I think the media and the fans have done a great job of selling. No one has poo-pooed this fight. When, let's be honest, if Dustin didn't have this relationship and this connection with the audience, maybe they do, right? The guy just got knocked out. He won one fight. This doesn't seem like a number one contender, a worthy number one contender, but it's because he is so respected and so well-liked. It seems like everyone has gotten on board. In a fight card that's not bad. It's not the greatest. It's got two great fights at the top. There's some other names sprinkled throughout. It's all about this main event. And I just can't wait to see how it all plays out. And he's a big underdog, and him winning via guillotine is an even bigger long shot. But holy shit, man. I get it. I get the sentiment. I get the feeling. And we have to appreciate these characters. We have to appreciate these fighters. This is what makes the sport so fun. Feeling on Saturday, if you're a DP fan, if you're a fan that's been watching him since the Holloway fight, since the Josh Grisby fight, since all that stuff, feeling sick to your stomach, wanting this guy to have the opportunity to hold gold, 25 minutes to make life fair. I get it. That's why we love it. That's why we love this so much. So let's see. Buckle up and enjoy it. Roger, I asked about Mike Perry fighting for the BKFC title last week. The response I got from you and your team was very arrogant. My question is, why do you guys act like this? You're all a bunch of journalists covering a sport you have never actually competed in. 99% sure none of you have probably ever been in a fight. 99% sure none of you have ever been in a fight. Why not act humble and grateful for the opportunity you have? Instead of being condescending to listeners, trying to rile up fighters, asking them very personal questions they don't want to answer, a good journalist navigates tough questions and awkward moments with finesse. Instead, y'all do it like a bull in the proverbial china shop. Jeez, why is he so mad? If memory serves me correct, all we said was we'd rather just see him in fun fights than fighting for the belt. Wasn't that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Daniel, what's good? Helwani. Like it? Apologies for the long one today, but I have a dilemma and I'm chasing the opinions of the people who matter. I live just a stone's throw away from Manchester, so naturally I've been ecstatic since the announcement of the upcoming pay-per-view there. This has only been amplified since the top fights have been revealed, and perhaps even more exciting rumors of Helwani Roadshow. There will be no Roadshow in Manchester. I am sorry. I will be at the Olympics, but one is coming to the UK. I've not missed a UK event since before Till Masvidal and had no plans to miss this one. Come hell or high water. All this to say, my beautiful girlfriend of 9 years revealed to me last week that she has booked us a surprise holiday to Greece during fight week. The flights are non-refundable, and we're not really in a financial position to just lose that money. Deep down, I know she was doing something nice, and I reasonably shouldn't be upset. But the thought of missing out on this banger of a card and potential fist bump with the goats of MMA media, see, this is good news. We're not going to be there. Has me down in the dumps. Suggestions welcome. Cheers, boys. Danny from Donnie. My suggestion, go on the trip, enjoy it, and just watch the card. There'll be another one. They just built this new arena. It will feel kind of shitty on the day, but you're in Greece with your beautiful girlfriend of 9 years. You're making the right call. And by the way, don't make her feel guilty that she did this for you. This was a lovely, lovely gesture. So there'll be another. And honestly, you want to stay up till 5 a.m. watching MMA? Come on. Just wait for when they come at a normal time. That's what I say. Archie, hello, Ariel and team. Would a DP finish on Saturday rank as one of your all-time moments in MMA? Remember, don't be silly. Jump the gilly. # finish the story. By the way, Rick, did you see our friends over at ESPN MMA use the finish the story stuff?
I did not.
Yeah.
What was the context?
They just said DP finish story. It's all good. Imitation.
Didn't see it, but yeah, it started here, right?
Yeah. It would be up there, right? If he wins via sub.
Well, what's important is not just the guillotine. It's like the context of this story is Islam Makhachev is a pound for pound great, and like getting it done against him in whatever fashion is absolutely incredible. So if he was able to do it in the fashion that he's kind of been chasing and hoping, and everybody in his life has told him not to, it would be pretty incredible. But to me, like beating Islam Makhachev would be just next level. Like Dustin he is up against it right now. Like his back is against the wall, and he has an opportunity to do something special. And Islam has an opportunity to squash that, to just prove that there are different levels to this game. So I'm compelled by this fight more so than fights that would typically have this gap in the odds. But I am compelled in this fight because I think this is a culmination of something for Dustin. So yes, it would be insane. It would be absolutely insane.
And it doesn't need to be a gilly or a sub or anything. If he just wins the fight, doesn't matter how he does it. It would be one of the most insane moments that we've seen. I would
put it up as top 3.
Be crazy.
Easy. Eric Helwani, who me? He wrote that. Just curious to hear what you, GC, and Rick thought about the unreal promo Bob Arum cut on the British judges after the Catterall-Taylor decision on Saturday evening. Personally, I was blown away, had a good laugh, and loved it. Eddie Hearn's reaction was priceless. As always, thank you for everything you do for the fighters, fight fans, and fight community. Yeah, it was great. Bob is the man. He's 92. I don't even understand how he flies around to all these events at his age. Look, I agree with him. I think there was once 117, 111. It was not that, like the discrepancy wasn't that large. I thought Catterall won. I thought he won the first fight. I thought he won the second fight, but it was a lot closer, maybe 2 rounds, 3 rounds. So I understand the frustration where you're like, wait a second, like we didn't even get a fair shake here. And I don't want to laugh at Bob Arum. He's 92. And so I just, all my takeaway from that was like, A, I hope I'm alive at 92. And B, I hope I have that kind of fire and that kind of passion and that kind of will to get out of bed and to just travel the world. Honestly, the guy is like in Riyadh and then he's in freaking Leeds and he's all over the place. He's still there. He's cutting promos. Love it. Legend. What can you say? He's the man. Spud Greg, and just an update. Mike Brown still to come. Craig Jones in studio. We're just getting started, my friends. And to everyone who's joining us at 1 thinking, what the hell just happened? Yes, we started an hour early because I have to go to my daughter's dance recital. But you can just rewind and you're getting the same length of show. So we're not screwing you over here. MVP, Deontay Wilder, and Luke Littler, the nuke, still to come. Spud Greg, hi Ariel and MMA Hour crew. Just a few questions about the Dreamcatcher. What do you think is next for Mousasi now that him and the PFL have parted ways? Do you think he will get compensation from PFL as he lost a year of his career? I don't know about that. I think he finds, a place to fight here or there. Maybe he does a little karate combat action. Maybe he does a little, I don't know, kickboxing action, but he'll be all right. I don't know if he gets, as much money as he was scheduled or slated to make with Bellator, but I think he'll be okay. Honestly, I thought it was interesting that he said in the interview, like, if it was up to me, I would just leave. If I'm not wanted, I would just leave. But I understand that his representatives wanted him to stick around. What do you think of MJF returning in AEW? I knew about it for quite some time. They couldn't afford to have him leave. I think he would be a bigger star with WWE, but I understand the loyalty and appreciate it. And let's see, he's still so young. So even if he sticks around for one other cycle, he's still got a massive, massive career ahead of him. Also, some questions regarding Becky Lynch and her situation. I mean, I kind of feel like she's going to resign. But, I mean, her husband works there. It makes all the sense in the world. But let's see. I would be shocked, honestly, if she doesn't resign. I haven't really checked in on that, to be honest. But I would be shocked. MBE28. Hi, Ariel. Talking about the roadshow. What's the plan with Vegas? Just imagine GC would have so many restaurants to pick from for Fight Feast. Well, he did one for $300. Table Junkie NY Rick can pull together an all-nighter and drive home again. Frankie can find a social club to go DJ at. Lastly, International Fight Week needs Ariel to shoot his 10-7s. There is talk of another roadshow in Vegas the night before, 303. So put it on the calendar. More to come. Let's just get through this one. Matthew, good day from Australia. And by the way, njpack.org is where you can get tickets. Just announced Aljamain Sterling, 2 other surprises. Good day from Australia. I love the Adam Sandler references on the show. Do you know him personally, and would you ever have him on the show? I would faint if he ever came on the show. I've never met him. I adore him. And yeah, I don't know him personally. Curtis, I vote for OG interviews during in-studio guest transitions instead of an interview from 2 days prior. Guess what? You're getting that today. I saw this one, and you're getting one. I wanted to read, I saw one. I saw an update from our youth pastor friend, but now I'm not seeing it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Mikey, hello team. Love the show. My wife just gave birth last week, a girl, and I had your show playing on my headphones during her hard labor. It was soothing. Wow, what an honor. Anyways, if Dustin loses on Saturday, does he retire? This has to be his last title run. So what else does he do? Maybe a super fight? I think he does, but I also think it depends on how the fight goes. I could see, some other fights presenting themselves, but maybe he just doesn't. I mean, there's really nothing else. Here it is. Trevor. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I reached out to my former youth pastor with clips from the show. Unfortunately, we got so caught up in conversation and laughing that we totally forgot to have a question ready, but I will have one soon. Thank you for providing us with a topic and reason to catch up. Similar to you two, he now has 2 sons and a daughter. This week's question. We all know Chael P was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame with Anderson. In your opinion, does he go into the Hall of Fame on his own as a fighter personality in the future? He brought so many new fans, and I honestly feel there's no bad guy personality. There's no notorious one. Also, I need MMA Hour merch, working on it to rock my first live event. That ain't happening. Maybe a jersey with my former youth pastor printed on the back. Hashtag can't let you get close. I don't think Chael gets in solo. I don't think. But nothing would. I mean, again, for the UFC, yes. Independent Hall of Fame. I mean, look. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa. If they ain't in, I don't know how Chael can be in. Just saying. Going to be a grand old day. How about Hugo, who says, can we give Venum not only flowers, but a whole bouquet of roses for the custom shorts from O'Malley, Poatan, Max, Zhang Wei Li, Justin, and now Dustin, UFC Venum match made in heaven. Yes, we got the floral shorts. I think we have a photo Or can we not do the photo? Yeah, because GC's not there. Yep. I thought we both had access. In any event, you've seen the photos and pretty great. Pretty great. I like this. I like this a lot. I want to see more of it. And this is a big event, by the way. The gold gloves, huge. First time we're going to see that. We're also going to see the new gloves for the first time. Rick, what do you think of the floral shorts? Do you think they did a good job? Don't love them.
I don't love any of the shorts that have been done except for Zhang Weili's.
Why is that?
Like, they just look kind of like rinky-dink. They look like a print. Like, they're not really custom. Like, they're custom, but they're not really custom. They're just kind of like clip art type patterns. All due respect, like I don't love any of them. Look, don't get me wrong. If the choice is between flat colors, no personality, none of this, I will take it. But it just doesn't look like an elevated thing. Like, it's just kind of cheapo looking to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone. The only one I really truly liked was Zhang Weili's.
I think we have them. We could show them in case you missed them. There they are. Listen, I'll take anything over those, same olds.
Yeah, choice between those two, I'll take it. But
there's some diamonds in there too.
I feel like we can do better. Is that fair? Is that okay to say?
Sure, but the bar is so damn low. I bought right before we went on vacation last year. I bought these swim trunks, bathing suit from Amazon, and they're like 3 sizes too big. They go like all the way down to past my knees, and they're so cheap. And those kind of look like those. Like, they're just.
I was gonna say those look like them. I'm sure.
Yes,
those
they were like $10. Sure. I just needed them by the next day, and so I understand what you're saying. I still do love it way more than.
Oh, no doubt. I don't want to go backwards. I'll say that. I don't want to go back to that. Like, if we're doing this now, I'll take it and run with it. But like, there's crazy artists out there. Like, think about like WWE gear or even like I don't know, anything. Like, there's just ways that we can enhance this in a major way. I don't know. That maybe I'm just a hater. Forgive me, but I feel like we can do better.
I'm curious to hear from more fighters post 302 what they thought of the gloves. We had Sean Strickland today at the media day. I see say that he hates them.
He went off. He said, "Who designed?" Like, basically, he was saying like nerds in a lab designed these and not real fighters, and they suck. And they're trying to solve a problem that does not need to be solved. Basically, was his position. If you are poking people in the eye, close your hands. Is his position. So yeah, he went off. He said, "quote unquote," like UFC, "quote unquote," dropped the ball. With these gloves. So he went off.
Damn. All right. I have heard some of this from some other people. I would imagine they had fighters work on these to some degree. I mean, I know the Chase Hooper stuff where he said that he got a look at them earlier, but I can't imagine that it was just a bunch of people who aren't fighters that weighed in on the process. I also saw a picture/video of Islam Makhachev getting his jacket for 50 clean UFC drug tests, and that Jeff Nowitzki said, this according to Mike Bond, who's in attendance, that Makhachev's drug test failure in 2016 was one of the biggest mistakes made in the USADA era and not a legit failure. That's fair. I'm just curious as to why they're saying this now. Why do they say this now when the relationship is over? Like, that was 2016. Why did they say it back then? Or even a year ago or 2 years ago? Bit weird, no? Oh, what about this quote from Islam? He doesn't believe he can beat me. His coach doesn't believe he can beat me. Oh, I wish I heard about this 10 minutes ago. I could have asked Mike Brown about it. Anyway, I feel like they think they could win. I don't feel like they're lying about this sort of thing. Jimmy, hola Ariel. I'm a father of 2, one 16, one 14-year-old boy. They are growing up and finding out more about the birds and the bees, if you will. Knowing that they're seeing and hearing these types of things, how do I engage in this conversation and try to teach them about it? As an awkward guy myself, I don't know how to bring myself to bring it up to my children, as my parents didn't do to me. How do I even bring it up? What do I even say? Thanks, Ariel. Well, luckily for me at this juncture, my boys are 12 and 10, but I definitely see that they're saying things and listening to things and watching things that are a little bit more advanced than I was at their age. In fact, I even heard them and their friends talk about one of their friends' cousins saying that he quote unquote pulls the cousin who's in, I think, 11th or 12th grade. And I was like, what does pull mean? And they're like, gets good looking girls. I'm like, this is how you speak? You're 12 and 10 years old. What is going on here? So all to say, I have no advice. No one really sat down and talked to me about that stuff, but you just kind of figure it out. I don't really think you have to, but maybe you can try to guide them certain direction. It's a scary world out there. I think the phone, the internet, all that stuff is terrifying. And our parents are lucky that we didn't have that back in the day, because I don't know how you navigate this. I really don't. It's all just so accessible. Terrifying. I'm hoping to hold out until my son is 21. But he might be, the 12-year-old might be the last kid left in his entire grade without a phone. But we're holding out hope. Evan, hi Ariel, love the show. With JDM versus Shavkat for a number one contender on the Perth pay-per-view off the table, how do you see the welterweight division playing out after Leon versus Bilal in July? Is there any possibility Conor gets touched over, his contract need to be signed? Did I read this already? I did read this. By the way, what about the JDM? The JDM part I don't remember reading, but what about those pictures where his arm has not healed? Crazy, gruesome stuff. He posted this yesterday. Really, really, or maybe it was today's. So it's unfortunate because it sounds like he won't be able to fight on that card, and that's a home game for him. Abe, hello Ariel, quick WWE two-parter from yours truly. How do you feel about WWE SummerSlam becoming a two-night event from 2026? I don't love it, to be honest. I don't love it. I get the money that's there. I personally don't like, as a fan, as someone who's not profiting from it, I don't love the two-night WrestleMania. I think it should just be one night. Make it a super card, make it 6 hours long. But this year it worked because it was a thread between night one and night two. And then you can't deny the money that is being made, the ticket sales, the revenue. And so I can live with it. And I could live with it being just a WrestleMania thing. Now it's a WrestleMania and SummerSlam thing. Come on. I just think that's too soon. WrestleMania in April, SummerSlam in August. That's 4 months later. Like if it was maybe October, and now this is the midway point, an October pay-per-view. But I don't know. I don't love it. I just don't think it's necessary. But again, they will do tremendous business, and what the hell do I know? It seems that they want a summer WrestleMania, hence King of the Ring winners getting a shot, a title shot in headlining SummerSlam, which I like because it makes the King of the Ring important again, King and Queen. I agree. Also, thoughts on the end to the bidding war of 2024. Do you know if there's truth to reports WWE was first choice, but they wouldn't meet his demands to be top three earners, while Tony Khan happily was able to make him AW's highest earner? I don't know exact amounts, but websites all suggest WWE top earners are Roman, Brock, Rock, Rollins, Cody Orton. For me, MJF's young age and huge ceiling in WWE may suggest he warrants that money. What do you think? Much love, your boy. But again, even let's say it's a 3-year deal, 4-year deal, 5-year deal, he's still going to be very valuable. So I understand. I think it would have been a huge blow if they lost him. And so I understand Tony Khan doing everything in his power to keep MJF around, because I do think he is worth it, and he's their biggest homegrown star. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with their TV deal. There was some report that Tony was unhappy with the initial offer from WBD, and they're going through all kinds of transitional stuff with the NBA potentially leaving. So yeah, let's see what they're offered and where they stick around. By the way, speaking of the NBA, I can't get enough of the Bill Walton content that has emerged over the last couple of days. In case you missed it on Monday, Bill Walton, one of the greatest players of all time, and then one of the greatest broadcasters of all time, unfortunately passed away at the age of 71 from cancer. Never met Bill Walton, but was always a huge fan of his work as a broadcaster because he was such a unique individual. He was such a happy-go-lucky guy. He did things his way. He was so fun to watch. I love the hyperbole. I love the way he dressed. I love the way he talked about the Grateful Dead. I love the way he talked about life. But as someone who adored and adores the history of basketball, I know about 1977 and the Blazers and Jack Ramsey, Dr. Jack, and then the Clippers, and asking to be, moved from Portland after the multiple foot injuries, and then the Celtics run in '86 and all that. Obviously, UCLA, like he is one of the greatest players, but then all the stuff that has come out, just from colleagues and text messages and unique stories, and how he treated Mike Breen's father. I saw that story yesterday, which was just incredible. What a guy. I just can't get enough. I can't get enough. And it's a shame that a lot of this stuff comes out. I mean, we all knew how unique he was and how special he was while he was alive, but it's kind of a shame that it all kind of floods out after someone passes. But there's just something so admirable about the way he lived his life and how he appreciated life despite all the injuries and the aches and pains and the surgeries. Really a sad day in the basketball world, in the sports world, in the broadcasting world. And I mentioned this on Twitter yesterday, and this is why I thought of it. If we are in fact losing inside the NBA, that show's going away, the greatest studio show of all time, we are really going to miss them on days like yesterday or the day before, because no show in sports, and in particular in the NBA, honors these moments, talks about these moments, treats these moments with the respect that they have treated them with, and gives, the topic and everyone at the desk a chance to breathe and express themselves. It's authentic, it's real, it doesn't exist. And that's what's made that show, among many other things, the camaraderie, the theatrics, all that stuff. It has made that show so special. And so when I saw them talking about Bill yesterday and the way in which they spoke about him, it was great once again, but also made me think like, damn, we're going to miss this. We're going to miss this when it's gone. All right. Here's Cole. Good day to Ariel and crew. First off, for GC, did your weekend with Troy come to fruition? How was it? Someone asked that already. Sounds like it was a good time. For the whole crew, out of everybody at the MMA Hour, who is most likely to climb Mount Everest like our man Yair did this past weekend? Yeah, congratulations to Yair. He climbed Mount Everest and posted about it, which is an incredible feat. Well done to him. So who is most likely to climb Mount Everest? I would say, I think the obvious answer is Conor, right?
Yair Rodriguez did Mount Everest?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, he posted about it like
here it is.
2 or so days ago.
All the way to the top. Summit. Highest in the world.
Incredible. For an athlete.
I'm seeing some base camp pictures. I mean, yeah, if he made it to the top, that's unbelievable.
So,
I
yeah.
used to climb some mountains back in the day. Yeah, I'd be down to do it.
I think
costs a lot of money.
You're the guy.
I think GC would even become a Sherpa.
No, not a Sherpa, but
what is a Sherpa again?
Like that would be the guy that would help you up the mountain.
Oh, Jesus. So that means
Maybe
you have to do it over and over again.
Africa? Oh, yeah. Over and over. Everest is super populated, though.
What do you mean by populated? Meaning like
there's a lot of hikers go there.
Oh, yeah. Why? Do people not like that?
Cool thing to do. I think it causes like more problems on the mountain because there's so many people up there.
Oh, really?
It's like there's not supposed to be that many people at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, lines to get up to the summit.
Imagine like you're that tired, you just climbed the entire thing, and then all of a sudden you have to wait in the line. Like you're right there. You're right at the top. You're like
it's a Disney World thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't want to poo-poo on Yair, but it feels like he just went to the base camp.
Wait, you don't mean you mean he didn't go to the top?
Yeah, I mean I don't. Yeah, it feels like he's just like was in Nepal and went to the base camp.
Wow.
Which I'm not saying. I mean, I still think that's at like 16,000 feet or something.
So you're calling BS?
I don't know if he even claimed that he climbed to the top. I mean, he didn't post a picture of him at the top, and he didn't say like, climb Mount Everest, check mark. He just said, don't climb the mountain so the world can see you, but so you can see the world.
And everyone just ran with Everest.
Oh, he's definitely at Everest. Everest base camp, though. I mean, I feel like there would be a picture of him at the very tippy top, 28,000 feet.
I wonder what the elevation is of base camp.
I actually got it for you right here. Put it in the picture. 5,364 meters. So, like 16,000 feet.
It's pretty incredible.
Oh, it's still impressive. I don't want to take anything away from the guy. I just don't know if he went all the way to the top, you know?
All right. Well, I'll say, well done. Maybe he's not done. Maybe he's still working on it.
I could be missing something here.
Now, my overall MMA question this week from Cole. It seems that Dustin may be getting custom fight shorts ahead of this weekend's pay-per-view. I'm not sure if it's just merch for the UFC store, but assuming it's legit, what do you believe is the bare minimum requirements for each fighter to achieve such a request? Popularity, ranking, only title fights, consistency, love of the fans, all of the above? Could we see more exclusive shorts in the future? That's a good question. We were talking about that earlier. Like, is it just title fights? No. Is it there's no rhyme or reason. It's sort of like the 5-round fights. Like, why is Strickland cost a 5-round fight? That I don't know. Is it a number one contender fight? Has it been labeled a number one contender fight? I think there's a very good chance the winner isn't fighting for the belt next. So, I don't know. It's up to them to announce it, but I say give everyone custom shorts. I love it. I think it's an incredible addition, and look how the people react to this. These like Sean O'Malley's wearing pink shorts, and everyone's going crazy over it. So, the more, the better. There they are. Rick didn't love him. GC didn't hate him, just didn't love him. I feel like you like him more.
I definitely like these more. I think they're one of the better ones. I love that the diamond is overlaid within the floral of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're gonna have some misses now that they're kind of putting out some volume on the custom shorts.
Yeah.
But please keep doing them because when they do hit, they hit nicely.
Oh, I mean,
get anything to give fighters personality.
100%.
Plus, like these are such Poirier shorts. Like I swear he had this exact print on a shirt one time.
He does love those shirts.
Yeah.
They've become his thing. Mean Tangerine, dear Ariel and crew, happy El Diamante Fight Week. Every summer, my father hosts a barbecue and a dart competition named Arrows and Ales. He desperately needs a new dartboard and figured who else to ask but you guys. The current dartboard is looking close to condemned. Where can a son get a real proper dartboard, and what sort of accessories would you recommend? He's a great father, and I know he'd appreciate this as a gift for Father's Day. Thanks for everything you guys do, Mean Tangerine. The main one is, what's it called? What's the main? It's on our thing right over there. Dart or the pro one. Windmill. That's the main one.
Yeah.
Windmill is the main one. Get the windmill. It's all nice and soft.
And then get one of those big foam circles that goes around it, one of those thick ones. Because I did some damage to my walls in my apartment. Missing the dartboard.
Oh, like
holes all over my wall. And then I got the foam thing, and then I never added any more. So yeah, definitely get the big foam thing or wooden box, whatever. Don't just put it up there.
So happy, is it Father's Day or what? No, well, happy Father's Day. It's a good Father's Day present, but happy whatever to your father. Michael. Hey, Ariel and crew, huge fan. Who, me? LOL. If Dustin wins on Saturday and doesn't end up retiring, who do you want to see him defend the belt against, and who do you also want to see Conor and would you also want to see Conor versus Dustin 4? I think you have to. I mean, I know he didn't get a ton of defenses, but I feel like they'll go back to Islam. If it's not Islam, I could see if Conor wins them trying to do it. If not, it's Armin, and then you've got a crazy story there with the, with the ATT connection. But I feel like they go back to Islam, but maybe I'm wrong. It would be crazy. It's a crazy thought to ponder. Ryder, what's up, Ariel and crew? For each of you guys, what is your most anticipated fight of the future? Try to pick a fight that isn't booked yet and is down the line. For me, it's an eventual fight for Sean O'Malley to fight Poirier in Spain. Thank you guys for answering everybody's questions. Damn, that is like really down the line. The first one, I'll say the first one that just came to mind right now is Aspinall Jones. I feel like that would be gigantic, but I don't know, maybe as pie in the sky as O'Malley versus Poirier. What else?
Jack Della versus Shavkat.
Jesus, that's really. Actually, that's not too far down the line.
5 versus 3. You could do it right now. I know Jack Dilla's he's had the complications from the surgery. Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery, but I don't mind that. Don't mind that one bit.
I was going to say Merab versus Suga, but every time Merab does one of those videos with the guy who looks like Suga, I always think it's Suga for a second.
Yeah.
Like he just did one in the parking lot of the Sphere, and I thought it was O'Malley. Like it's uncanny, the resemblance. DDP Izzy, but again, these are not very pie in the sky.
All right, let's go pie in the sky.
Pereira Aspinall.
Pereira Aspinall would be great. Carlos Olberg versus Yuri Prohashka would be fun.
Leon Gary. I feel like that'd bring a fun little storyline. Tatiana Zhang Weili.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I was literally just looking at that, thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, it's not pie in the sky, but yeah, Max Ilya in Spain is probably the fight that I want more than any other fight that the UFC could make.
Oh, yeah.
Ilya, Max, Spain.
Has to be in Spain. Ilya Max, great. Ilya Max, Spain, infinitely cooler.
Ilya Max at the Bernabeu, as cool as it possibly gets.
Outside with it, Ariel, you once mentioned that a 10-10 scorecard is allowed for judges to score. Was looking to see if you had any insight as to why this is not more common practice. Would possibly help for close fights, but would certainly make draws more likely. Yeah, they just don't do it. I don't know. I guess they're just kind of programmed to give 10 to the winner and 9 to the non-winner.
Can you think of a time that you saw a 10-10 round in the UFC?
I have one on the. I bet someone like Casey knows this. He'll write in the group in a second. I know
because there have been several times over the last few years where I'm like, that should just be a 10-10 round because it was just so close. I can't determine a winner of that round.
Okay, this is according to MMA decisions. The first recorded one am I getting this right? 10-10 report. The first recorded one seems to have been at UFC 33, Tony Weeks. Matt Serra against Eve Edwards. They don't have a breakdown here. Is that possible that they did this? Am I reading this correctly? Oh, Douglas Crosby, the second one on the same night. What? Jens Pulver against Dennis Hallman. Seemed to have been a lot more, if I'm reading this correctly, seems to have been a lot more. Now, are these just, no, they're not. Seems to have been a lot more prevalent in the early days, 33, 33, 35, 37, 39, 41, 43. Tough finale. 1. Is this possible? And then you go to the later stages and there's nothing. The last one recorded here seems to have been Cyril Gane against Tai Tuivasa, ESPN.
Oh, that was UFC Paris
yes.
in 2022.
You're looking at this too, or you remember?
Yeah, Gomi Aarons.
No, Gane versus Tuivasa.
Oh, I see the fight was.
Oh, yes. I'm looking at the yes.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I'm on the same thing as you.
Here it is.
Decisions 10-10 report. There was one on Dos Santos.
10-10. Christophe Chapuis gave the third round a 10-10.
Chapuis, legend. Shout out to him. Should be more of them.
Okay, so that was Gane Tuivasa was 2 years ago, right? Yeah, it was 2022. That's the last one. Prior to that, the previous one was 4 years, December of 2018. Then there was one in October of 2018. But they're few and far between in the early days. Sorry, in the later days here.
I was gonna say, and it doesn't look like Douglas Crosby. Never mind. I was gonna say it feels like none of these judges are really mainstays. Yeah, I mean, you go back like 5 or 6 of them. It's already back.
Chris Lee is up
World
there.
Series of fighting.
It is crazy though. In the early days, it's almost every single card. There's one. So what does that say about the evolution of judging? Are they less inclined these days to do it? I guess so.
Yeah, 2 back on 33 is wild.
2.
3 on John Jones versus Chael Sonnen in UFC 159.
No way. Wow.
They all came in the Owen St. Preux, John Vellante fight.
Holy crap. 3.
All 3 judges scored round 3 a 10-10 in that one. Wow.
Wow.
Those are some wacky scorecards. 30-28, 29-29, 30-29 for your winner by majority decision.
Oh, yeah, it was the same fight, yeah.
St. Preux. That's incredible to see across the board, 10-10s.
I have no recollection of this. What about, wow, this might be the most...
In Newark, New Jersey.
Yep. I was there. I remember that fight. What about this is probably the most high-profile one. Johnny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler, main event of UFC 171 for the title. Doug Crosby gives the 5th round a 10-10 in a title fight. The internet would explode if someone gave a 10-10 in a title fight. In the 5th round of a title fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Doug Crosby. Shout out. He went from giving 10-10s to 10-8s.
Yes.
He gave a 10-10 and still ended up with the exact same scorecards as the other two, despite them not giving 10-10s. 48-47 across the board.
Yeah, that is weird.
He gave round 2 a 10-8 and round 5.
Oh, wow. He was just wilding out.
Nah, respect. I respect that. Shouldn't just be 10-9s.
All right, well, there you have it. For Conor, what is the biggest betting line movement that you have seen that was directly correlated to what a guest has said on the show? I don't know. I don't know if anything.
Yeah, I can't think of anything where a guest moved the line. It's really just on massive bets.
Yeah.
The Derek Minner, Cheyenne Norton Becca will always go down. Hopefully one day we get the full story behind that. Go to like -130 to like -450, 20 minutes before the fight. Sketchy.
We've had things happen as a result of the show, obviously, like the Mousasi situation of just last week.
Oh, yeah.
But no, nothing.
Yeah, no betting stuff.
No. Dear Ariel, any insight into why the Masvidal Diaz fight got pushed a whole month instead of 1 to 2 weeks? With Chael P saying if you move a date, you just canceled the event 3 weeks ago on your show, and Nate saying I don't want to do none of this. I never did want to do any of it. Then walking out of last month's press conference, that was referring to the press tour, not the fight. Is there a chance this completely falls through? Thanks. No, I mean, they're selling tickets. It's a thing. It's not going up against anything. I think it happens. There's a lot of money tied to this. There's a lot invested in it already. So I think it happens. I just think, yeah, it's, I think what Nate and Jorge are realizing that, it's hard to put on an event without the well-oiled machine that is the UFC. The UFC does a lot to market these events, to get the word out there. And when you're a UFC fighter, you could just show up. And so, I think they do a hell of a lot. And when you go on your own and you do this on your own, now you're taking a lot of the burden and the pressure and the stress of promoting an event, and you're putting it on your shoulders. So yeah, it's not easy, but I think that it goes through, and Nate wasn't referring to the fight. He was referring to the press tour. And yes, that is semantics. They did cancel one date and make a new date. So what does it really matter? Juan Sanchez, hey, Ariel and crew, quick one for all of you today. Beyonce has the Beehive. Taylor Swift has the Swifties. What name would you give to the MMA Hour fandom? Would love to get you and the crew's take. I don't know. I mean, someone suggests here, in the case of Ariel, we the people are the healers. Helwani, maybe, to the mysterious one in the back, we're the little Frankies. If that works.
I'm here for it.
Beyonce has the Beehive. Yeah. I used to have the Helwani Nation way back in the early days, but nothing really of that sort anymore. I'll let you guys decide. How about that? Rob, hey, Ariel, can you speak on the prices of UFC tickets nowadays? I'm a recent fan, 2020, and I cannot blame them for setting the prices so high since they sell out. But were they like this back in the day? I get inflation as a factor too, but $450 to sit in the nosebleeds is wild to me. Yeah, I mean, we talk about the big gates. Part of the reason, some people were writing to me as I was talking about, I was giving them props for the big gates. They were saying like, yeah, I mean, it's easy to break a record with Derek Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento if you're charging that much. And it's true, but they're still selling them out. So it's just an expensive event. And you can get away with it in Vegas and whatnot, usually. Harder in some other states, but as you're seeing, they're not having any trouble selling tickets or getting events to come to town. So, yeah, they're crushing it. But I get it. Matt Moe writes here, I paid $450 for nosebleeds at UFC 297. $450 for nosebleeds. That's wild. That's more than I paid for the Knicks playoff tickets. And those were pretty good seats. Not the greatest, but they were like mid-tier.
Going back to the previous question, I would like to vote for the Jerry Parksters.
Okay, I like that.
Like a play on Merry Pranksters.
I like that. Frank, if you could do me a favor and get ready for Luke, because I'm up against the clock. So
I'll be away from the board.
Yes. But he is in the building, and we will get to him. I don't know if I'm going to make my daughter's thing, and I hope you all know she's going to be very upset, but I will deal with that. In any event, we move along. Ethan, hi, Ariel. Wanted your thoughts on the famous quote from GSP, the champions of tomorrow will always be better than the champions of today. My father and I always debate this when it comes to boxing. I am of the mind that Tyson Fury would beat the likes of Ali, Frazier, Mike Tyson. I also think Canelo would box the head off of Hagler, Duran, and the greats of that time. He says I'm crazy. Let me know you and the crew's thoughts on this as it pertains to boxing/MMA. Note, have all the respect in the world for the champions of old. They were the best for their time. I mean, this comes into play when people debate the NBA. You debate Bill Russell and you compare him to Jokic or Shaq and Wilt Chamberlain or Cousy and Steve Nash or, I don't know, Magic and Doncic. These are debates that happen in every sport. I just kind of choose not to make those debates. I think sports evolve and change, and they're almost completely different in some regards. Like the way people fight, especially in MMA. You look at MMA in the early 2000s, and it's a completely different sport than what we see today. And so I almost feel like it's unfair to the ones of yesteryear and the ones of today. So I understand where he's coming from, but I tend to think if you took Matt Hughes, let's say, welterweight champion, and you took that exact same guy from 2006 and you put him in there against Leon Edwards, I feel like the athletes of today would generally prevail because of the evolution of the sport and the talent and whatnot. That's what I feel. So who the hell am I to disagree with GSP? But I tend to feel like the modern day athlete is going to prevail. Matt, hey Ariel and crew. TKO President Mark Shapiro stated there's a possibility traditional monthly pay-per-views could end in the next broadcast deal, and fans could instead pay a monthly price of $30 to $40 for the subscription service instead. I would obviously love to save money instead of paying $80 for just the pay-per-view each month. But would the depth and quality of numbered cards suffer knowing they could rely solely on subscriptions instead of traditional pay-per-view buys? What are your thoughts on this and the upcoming broadcast deal for the UFC? I think they're looking at all options. I think they've talked to everyone under the sun, and they will continue to talk to everyone. I know there's an exclusive period, but they will do their due diligence, and you see what happened with WWE and Netflix. You see that WWE is with Peacock, and with Peacock, they offer like a monthly rate for the PLEs. I don't think that works as well with UFC, just because with the UFC, you don't see the same characters every month. So you're selling yourself short. I think what you are more likely to see is the UFC just selling the exclusive rights to someone like they did with ESPN Plus, and it could remain ESPN Plus, and that's just the exclusive home, but you still have to pay for it. The UFC is still very much thriving in the pay-per-view business. So why would they give it all up? WWE was seeing a dip in the pay-per-view business, so they wanted to get ahead of it, and it ended up being a very smart move. But now, you know, times have changed, and I feel like it would be, at least from my vantage point, in their best interest to not do that and to still have it as a pay-per-view model. The fans wouldn't like that, and I totally get that. And it is expensive, $80 a month, and in June you're getting it for 2 months. It's $160 if you want to buy 302 and 303. But, you know, they're just doing so well. They really are. So I don't see why they would change that. But let's see. That's going to be the biggest story to watch next year. 2025 is going to be gigantic because we're going to find out. And, you know, live sports continues to be the dominant entity as far as the thing that people are going to pay billions of dollars for. Everything is changing with streaming and scripted and all that stuff. But the one thing that remains appointment television, even if you love a show, even if you are the biggest fan of Game of Thrones or something like that, sports is the one thing you have to watch live. And so with that, you can sell advertising, you could do all kinds of things. So, yeah, they're going to do very well. Hey, Ariel and gang, this is from Vicky. Question for all of you. If you could compete in any sport at the highest level, which sport would it be? A few years back, I did Wimp to Warrior training program, now called Train Alta. I did the amateur MMA fight at the end, first round KO, if you wondered. Well done. It was amazing, but a tiny glimpse into the life of an athlete. If GC is still thinking about doing it, he definitely should. My pick would be basketball, just because I feel like I'm the best at that. But I also suck at everything else. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.